We're live. Live is starting. No, live is starting. Hang on. I'm live. Yay, I'm live. And I'm weird here. Sorry, the camera's wonky. Why is the camera doing this? Oh, there we go. Ah, you see, Techno Genius here. Techno Genius here. All right. Good morning. I'm early. It's 7 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's only 7 minutes past. We have all kinds of time. I'm really bothered. No. No, it doesn't help. Oh well. Good morning, everyone. Rogue Hair. It's the 21st of December. Click to load. And from this day forward, for at least a year, the days are going to get longer-ish. And oh boy, warmer. Yes. Now, it's also just about nearly almost Christmas. And I wanted to try and get all of this working better. It's like there's nothing for you to see. This is so annoying. I'm sorry. You came early expecting to see something, clever, and all you're getting is me. This also, by the way, is why I never had a career in trucking, because I couldn't figure out which way to turn the wheel in order to back up. So, I also can't figure out which thing to do to correct the camera. When I get really good at this and we make a whole lot of money, I'm going to hire a camera person. I think that's probably best for all of us, don't you? Anyway, it's going to be Christmas in a couple of days. It's going to be many holidays, so it's rather selfish and blinded to think of this just as Christmas. But again, these are the only eyes that I'm looking through, right? What I wanted to talk about today, bringing us closer and closer to the happy holiday time, was the whole point of getting together, what it was supposed to mean, what it is supposed to mean, and what we kind of do to get it off track, off the rails, and how I think you and I together can shift all of this and make it work brilliantly for everyone. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because in case people haven't joined us, they're going to wonder what happened when they come on at 10:15, right? In any case, I have this in my hot little hand. And if you can see it, actually, I'm going to bring it in front of me, close to the camera. Now this is, ooh, that looks really out of focus. I'm sorry about that. This is my logo for Story Me TV. This really beautiful images. One was an image of a battered gold heart, and because it was so raw and so fragmented, it reminded me of the Viking relics and discoveries that we find in all of the burial sites. And also, the heart, soft and curved at the top, is a V, shaped like a V, so hello, Vikings. And then the other image, which I just adore, that I put inside the heart, is this open book. And coming from the book is everything you could imagine. And it represents all the stories that we tell, that we know, that we've lived, and that we want to share. And when I saw that image, I thought, oh, and this is our collective story, really. So I put the two images together, set on a black background, and when I did, I realized that the colors of the book and the background on all of the images coming out of the book, planes and trains and automobiles and birds and hearts and bicycles and pieces of cake and whatnot, they kind of remind me of the Earth. They kind of remind me of our little blue planet in space, surrounded by love. That's what I thought. So, huzzah, I said, this is the representation of Story Me TV. Now, when you have time, if you go and check out my website, which I'm really proud of because I kind of built it myself, asking a couple of friends, with a really gorgeous theme. If you use WordPress, if you've ever built a website, they have these themes. And when I saw this one, it felt alive. It felt active, happening, dynamic. So the Story Me TV website tells you everything about my idea, everything about the concept that I'm going to pursue in the coming years, months, weeks, days, hours. And the reason I'm going to do that is very clear and getting clearer by the minute. Sometimes it's dangerous out there. Sometimes it's risky getting together physically, face to face. Sometimes it's better to connect and collaborate and smile and wave at each other this way, because there's no immediate possibility of things going wrong, other than, me, technology, because I have we all know at this point, I really don't need to keep going into it except for the new people who join us. I am technically ungifted. I don't think it's fair to say that I'm challenged. Challenged would imply that I was had this illusion that I was going to figure it out real easily. I know it's going. May all the gods bless you. You are willing to come along for the ride while I figure this out, which I think is amazing, because I'm sure there are all kinds of videos out there of people who are as all get out, and you don't have to sit there and say, is Abby even allowed to drive? I mean, what is wrong with her? And of course the answer, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, humans of all shapes and sizes, is that I'm good at other things. And any minute now we're going to figure out what those are. Back to what I'm really talking about. Story Me TV, hand model here. Story Me TV isn't that funny? It's a container. It's an idea. It is a pathway. It is and the learning and the awesomeness of live connection to each other. That's what stories do. That's what they're for. It doesn't mean that to tell a story you need to be able to read. It doesn't mean that you need to be able to write. It doesn't even mean that you need to be able to speak or hear. It means that you have a way, a tool, something you can use to get the message inside your head, inside everyone else's head, so we can all benefit from that. That's what Story Me TV is all about. Were at their peak. at their narrow window of time when they were known to be all over the world, rushing around frantically. They didn't use a written language. They used symbols called runes, basically leaving marks: go left, go right, don't go there, say hello to the alligator for us. They didn't really write down any of their stories. And sometimes I joke and say, well, you see, that way people can't call you on it. That's not what I said. You must have misheard me. It wasn't until much later, almost 1,000 years, that people who remembered the stories, who had heard the stories, who had been told the stories, decided to write them down. And that became a kind of legendary way of perpetuating the journey that the Vikings took. Like many, many other civilizations, the Vikings lived in precarious times. They lived on land that had a lot of rocks and a lot of cliffs and surrounded by water and not much growable, fertile land. So they did what they could with what they had. And then, like everyone else in those days, they went raiding in the summer, the way people go camping today. They would go and see what they could scrounge. American pickers, Viking pickers. While they were away, everybody was going to their place to see what they could scrounge. So it was a kind of an understood thing that we're all in this, we're all doing this. And the reasons the Vikings have been labeled as such terrible people is that one of the cultures they came in contact with very quickly when they left the Scandinavian countries was a monastery. And those people could they're waving at us. So they took the gold, and they took some slaves, and they probably killed some people. The survivors wrote horrific tales. May or may not be true. Might be a little exaggerated. Could be bitter. We don't know. What I do know from a lot of research, because I'm not just, jumping on bandwagons, is that Vikings, like many cultures, were extraordinarily talented, multi-talented, tremendous craftspeople, amazing family people, the way they raised their kids, the way they worked their farms, the way they lived in their towns and their villages. It was a pure democracy. Everyone had votes. There were really sensible ways to punish people for doing terrible things. And I happen to be one of them by many, many, many decades of ancestors. And so much of what they did that was creative and good and important and exciting So Story Me TV is an homage, it's an honoring of my stories and an invitation to you to share yours with me. That works out. So when you go to storymetv.com, that's the website, storymetv.com, you will see that you can subscribe. Insiders are just free members. Influencers, it's $5 a month when we get started. Right now it's free, of course. They're going to be the people who contribute to the stories that we produce. I believe very strongly that life is not a spectator sport. I believe that, survival of the fittest isn't how keenly we watch Netflix. Survival isn't defined by binge watching. Survival is by thriving and evolving and getting evolved and involved in what's going on around us. That's what life is all about. So I want our stories, I want our experiences, I want all my friends, everyone, all my fans, all the people who never heard of me and then say, oh my gosh, is she still alive? I want all these people who are everywhere, all over the world. You don't need a passport. We're all citizens of this world of Story Me TV. The reason I wanted to push this, and since I'm not pitching and selling, I'm just informing, I wanted to put it in the context of Christmas, because I think it's a great Christmas present for all of us to look for a way to live in the present and be present at a time when presents are exchanged, and imagine how we can reinvent, upgrade the idea of the gift, of the present. How we can do this is by sharing with each other, is by telling each other, have you seen Abby's videos? Remember Mom? Remember Friend Bear? Remember Eleanor Tweed, darling? Okay, well, she's doing videos. They're a little wonky because she's kind of getting her feet wet. But oh my God, they're fun. They're unpredictable. And she's going to start something amazing, and everyone is invited. Everyone. So, for instance, imagine this. Let's say I've written a sitcom. I have 6, I think, in the stockpile, in the queue. And I need writers. And I need idea people. And I need visual artists, and I need musicians, and I need voices, and I need tech people who can save me from myself. Please save me from myself. I need everything you can put. Dancers, claymation people, any way, gamers, any way you can conceive, any idea that might be fun. Once you've read the treatment for the sitcom, the reality show, the historical drama, the thriller, the multimedia game, once you read the outlines, the treatments, and you say, I have a million ideas. Where do I sign? I want to get involved. Tell me more. That's how Story Me TV is going to begin. We're going to build a working group, a thinking group, a brain trust. And it's safe enough to go into studios, make the shows, so that everybody else can watch them on the virtual screen. Kind of a sickly thing. I think it's the way we're going to overcome all of this. I really do. Because here's the thing about disappointment. And here's the thing about panic. And here's the thing about pain and anger and fear and confusion. We're not really wired to stay in those emotional states. We're not meant to run screaming forever. You can't run screaming forever. Can you imagine if you went to a show? You turn on your screen, your whatever, you go to the theater, you go to a the curtains close. See? Plot thin. Not much of a character arc. Probably needs throat lozenges now. So if you can imagine how goofy and stupid and pointless it would be to try and create an entire story, a half hour, could you imagine 50 minutes? Can you imagine 30 seconds? Where nothing happens but somebody screams. Where nothing happens but somebody yells. Nothing happens but somebody sobs brokenly. Can you imagine it? You'd say, is this thing stuck? Like, what is this? What is this? Boring is what it is after a while, because we are curious people. We are curious creatures. We want to know what that is over there. We want to know how long is this going to take. We want to know if it's lunchtime yet, and is there any more coffee? So this current climate where there's something wrong, there is something wrong. There's no question. Deny it if you like, but by the way, there's something wrong. It's frustrating. We can't plan anything. We can't look forward to anything. We think that in order to have fun, to feel better, to feel rewarded for our patience, that we need to stand right close to each other and lick each other and yell in each other's faces in order to feel connected. That's not true. We've just been pushed so far away to isolation. And you know the thing about physics, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So as far away we have been pushed, as isolated as we have expected to be, have had to be, is how close we wish to be in reaction. We don't need to be that close, and we don't need to be that far once the crisis has passed. We also don't need to stand around on one leg in suspended animation like really unfortunate flamingos, waiting for the bell to ring or the gun to go off or somebody to say the all clear so that we can get back to being whatever it was. We don't have to do that. We are not hostages. We're Vikings. Inside Vikings. And our inner children, they're very small and very demanding, and they know when you're lying to them because they're very smart, are saying, really? Why are you eating all the brownies today? Did you need that much Kleenex? It's because we don't know what to do. It's because nobody is giving us alternate instructions. Nobody is saying, well, for the time being, we can do this, and it's going to be a great deal of fun. Except me. I'm doing it. And I know everybody on YouTube is, and all the people who are setting up their wonderful music and their wonderful acting and whatnot and their art stuff, and watch my video and find out how to make bread. And then just, once you've made the bread, just divide it in half and apply it directly to your hips, because that's where the bread is going to go. So, we're coming close. It's 10:29. I could talk, obviously, forever. On Thursday, I want to talk about Christmas. I want to talk about Christmas stories, mine, my experiences, and maybe they will resonate with yours. You to do something awesome for us, for you, for me, and for everyone who is choosing to watch these videos. And by the way, it's in the mid-1500s now. I can't believe it. I want you to make a note. StoryMeTV.com. That's the website. Go check it out when you have a couple of minutes. It's a very cool website. That's the first thing. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to try and find the time to go and check out my YouTube channel. I will post the link so you can just go directly there, because I don't have very many subscribers and I need to get those numbers up, and it costs nothing, so I would like you to subscribe if you haven't already. The third thing I would like you to do is I would like you to tell all your friends that this is a fun thing to do. They don't have to get up at this ungodly hour to watch, because of course it's Facebook Live. But we do want them to watch, and that means I do need you to like, share, tell your friends that they should watch and get to know Abby Mom as she really is. Because Abby Mom, Abby Friend Bear, Abby Eleanor, is inviting you to become a citizen of Abby World. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'll see you on Thursday. On Thursday. Okay? Be safe. All right. Ending live video.